Hello there. You're listening to Oyla, a science podcast for students. We tell stories that make you smarter. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our latest episodes. You can discover even more about science and the world around us in our magazine, so head over to Oyla to check it out.
Voltaire drank 50 cups of it a day, and Beethoven brewed it with exactly 60 beans. People of all ages on all continents drink it hot or cold, and with milk or simply black. It has reached the point that the name of this drink has become synonymous with a break. So, why does it deserve all this glory and unconditional love? Hello friends, and welcome to Oyla Podcast. Grab your cup of coffee and be ready to listen amusing history of your favorite drink. This delicious drink is popular not only in Italy, the Middle East, and Turkey, where coffee shops and the process of drinking have long been a part of the national culture. It's also widespread in the US and the UK, where coffee is often consumed from a disposable cardboard cup while running errands, no ceremony involved whatsoever. The coffee tree belongs to the madder family of evergreens, Rubiaceae. In the wild, they are found in the tropical highlands of Africa and Asia, and they are cultivated in the tropics. Most species are small trees or large shrubs. The coffee beans that are poured into the coffee grinder are the roasted seeds of the fruit, called coffee cherries. Each such cherry usually contains 2 ordinary beans, or 2 that have grown into one, the pea berry. Fruits with pea berries make up about 5% of all coffee cherries, so they are considered more valuable. A cup of any coffee contains thousands of chemical compounds, but the first one that comes to mind is caffeine. Thanks to coffee's invigorating effect, it has become a favorite drink for those who need to quickly concentrate. Caffeine was discovered and named in 1819 by the German chemist Ferdinand Runge. Later, in 1838, the Dutch chemist Gerrit Mulder proved that the caffeine extracted from coffee and theine from tea were in fact the same substance. The chemical structure of caffeine was determined by the German chemist Hermann Emil Fischer at the end of the 19th century. He was the first to synthesize this substance in the laboratory. Caffeine works as follows. It blocks the activity of the adenosine receptors of the central nervous system, which are responsible for slowing down the activity of nerve cells. As a result, the work of the nervous system does not slow down, and mental and physical performance get a temporary boost. However, boosting the activity of nerve cells has a downside. The cells stimulated by caffeine trigger the release of adrenaline, which increases the heart rate and blood pressure. Caffeine also enhances the synthesis of the pleasure hormone dopamine, so coffee lovers are likely to develop an addiction. Caffeine is produced by other plants besides tea and coffee trees. They use caffeine as a pesticide that not only paralyzes and kills insects, but also prevents the germination of the grains of other plants in the soil around them. So caffeine helps the plant win the battle for nutritional resources. It is believed that the maximum daily dose of caffeine for a person is very individual, but is about 400 milligrams, 2 to 4 cups of coffee, depending on how it is made, or around 8 cups of tea. A lethal dose is around 0.35 to 0.5 ounces, or 70 to 150 cups of coffee. Drinking that much of anything would be a problem, even water. However, caffeine enters our bodies not only with tea or coffee, but also with chocolate, cola, energy drinks, and certain medications, and they all have different concentrations of caffeine. Coffee is rich in antioxidants, polyphenols. The most important of them are chlorogenic acids, which, by the way, are what give the drink its bitterness. The content of these acids in a single cup can vary from 15 to 325 milligrams. The exact amount depends not only on the method of brewing, but also on the coffee sort. For example, Arabica green beans contain fewer chlorogenic acids than Robusta beans, although this difference disappears after roasting. Depending on the method used in its production, decaffeinated coffee can have the same content of phenolic antioxidants as regular coffee. There are studies that show that the products of the conversion of chlorogenic acids in the digestive system can protect nerve cells from oxidative damage. It has also been demonstrated that chlorogenic acids, or more precisely, the products of their biochemical transformations, prevent the development of type 2 diabetes among those who regularly drink coffee. Unfortunately, there are also harmful substances in coffee, just as in any food or drink. One of them is 4-methyl-imidazole, which is listed as a potential carcinogen. The content of 4-methyl-imidazole in coffee is about the same in Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Coffee contains, in fact, a little less.
At the same time, the danger of 4-methylimidazole, which was all over the news when it was discovered, is exaggerated. The study preceding the inclusion of this compound on the list of carcinogens referred to an experiment conducted on mice that were fed 170 milligrams of substance per kilogram, 2.2 pounds, of weight every day for 2 years. A person who weighs 130 pounds and drinks 6 3.3 fluid-ounce cups of coffee daily intakes 4 milligrams of 4-methylimidazole per 2.2 pounds of weight, which is virtually safe. And even if one drinks a lot of coffee, the main health risks are associated not with 4-methylimidazole, but rather with excessive caffeine and sugar intake. It is also worth mentioning that milk and cream reduce the activity of coffee antioxidants, and cappuccino foam hampers their absorption by the body. But let's be honest, people will never give up on coffee because of some research study. Therefore, drink it, enjoy it, but be aware of the dangers of excess and the benefits of moderation. Now pick a cup of coffee, and don't forget to grab an interesting fact for a snack.
Espresso. It is the cornerstone of any modern coffee house. Espresso is not just strong black coffee, you need a special espresso machine to make it. The machine was invented in 1884 by the Italian Angelo Moriando and was improved upon in 1901 by the Italian engineer Luigi Bezzera. The working principle is simple. Pressurized boiling water passes through a filter with compressed ground coffee and then trickles into a mug. The drink got the name espresso, meaning pressed. The allusion to express was an accident, even though the inventive Italian machine could make coffee in record time. Espresso is served in a small cup of a few sips, sometimes with sugar. Cappuccino. This word has many unexpected word connections in Italian. The brownish tinge of the drink, derived from coffee and milk, reminded the Italians of the color of monastic robes of the order of Capuchins. The servants of God were called Capuchins because of the clothes they wore, pointed hoods, or cappuccio in Italian. In fact, cappuccino, capuchins, and capuche are practically the same word. Cappuccino is espresso-based, the coffee cornerstone, with foam added to it. Americano. Let's move from Europe to the United States. Wait a minute, the Americano was also born in Italy. It is believed that the drink first appeared during World War II. Soldiers from the United States based in Europe were not happy with the overly strong espresso that the Italians were used to, so they began to dilute coffee with water. The locals viewed this as an eccentricity and mockingly dubbed the drink American coffee, as if to say they had nothing to do with it. However, the Americano is now popular in Europe, valued for its softness and volume. Latte, another Italian word. It literally translates as milk and means coffee with lots of milk and foam. Wait, isn't that the cappuccino recipe? The difference is in the proportions. Milk foam in a latte just covers the surface, while in a cappuccino it takes up a third of the cup. The origin of the latte is unknown. Coffee and milk have been mixed for a long time, but no one knows when and how the modern espresso-based recipe appeared. In Italy, for example, there's no drink with that name. If you order a latte in a Milanese coffee house, you will most likely be brought a glass of hot milk. To get a latte, you'll need to order a cafe latte coffee with milk. Mocha, or macchiato, now we're dealing with an American invention. At least the drink first became popular in the States. In fact, this is a latte, only with the addition of chocolate. But why the name mocha? The most interesting thing is that the word has nothing to do with chocolate. This is the name of a type of coffee grown in the Yemeni city of Mocha. Some sources maintain that since the mocha bean had a similar taste to cocoa beans, over time the name was given to coffee with chocolate. Modern mocha coffee, however, does not taste anything like this flavor, and there is no confirmation of this theory. Glace and Frappuccino. Legend has it that a French, or perhaps Austrian, coffee shop ran out of milk. A customer was in a hurry and demanded a cappuccino immediately, so the barista replaced the missing ingredient with ice cream. If a writer or a journalist had been in the milk cafe at that moment, perhaps they would have written an article confirming this. However, as with many types of coffee, nobody knows for sure how and when it was invented. Glace is popular in Europe, while the idea of mixing coffee with ice cream is not as popular in other parts of the world. However, iced coffee has many local variations, espresso around the world. The American equivalent of glace is Frappuccino, cold coffee with milk and syrup, blended with ice and made famous by Starbucks.
been listening to a podcast brought to you by Oyla, a science magazine for students. Please subscribe and check out our website, Oyla, for more information.